Hi, welcome to Point Blank, where we suss out the issues on the ground that matter to you. I'm
Right.
Amanda.
And I'm Celene. And tonight we are actually going to be talking about the state of our mental health here in Singapore, a topic we hope will up your mental resilience in the current crisis.
That's right, in our studio tonight we have Ms. Porsche Poh as well as Mr. Harris Ng, both from Silver Ribbon.
That's right. Now, Harris is also a recovered patient who has been coping positively with schizophrenia for over 30 years now.
That's right, but perhaps you might be wondering why we are on this topic tonight. Well, it has got to do with $35 million.
Right, $35 million. That's the latest amount that the government is pumping into a series of programs within the next 3 years to help improve the mental well-being of Singaporeans.
And I guess something that sort of really drawn the attention to this issue of mental health is the recent attack on the Yio Chu Kang MP, Mr. Seng Han Tong. It really sort of made us focus on this issue.
I remember that incident very specifically because it took place on the eve of my birthday, and I was on Sentosa and I was watching the TV and I was like, is this pre-recorded? I just couldn't believe that something like that would actually happen.
That's right, it's very shocking.
Right? Yeah, and Christine actually headed out there to find out how Singaporeans perceive the mentally ill. Let's hear what they have to say.
Would you be comfortable with working with someone who has a mental illness?
It depends on at what stage he's at. If he's recovering and under medication, fine. But if he's like not under medication and in a very dangerous state, I think I would rather have him admitted or be under some kind of medication or medical care before I would be comfortable working with him, because I have known of cases where people just run amok for no reason.
Would you be comfortable with marrying someone who you know has a mental illness?
I think that will be a foolish thing to do, first of all. All right? Yeah, because it doesn't have a proper sense of mind. That's the first reason, you see. I mean, the responsibility is too much for me.
Would you be comfortable working with someone who has a mental illness?
I think it's okay as long. I mean, anyway, he's human. He or she is still a human being or something. Yeah, but I think it's okay as long he don't disturb me or something.
What about marrying someone who has a mental illness?
I don't think so. I think I'm scared of it.
Why are you scared of it?
Imagine, who knows? She just take out some parang and kill me.
Would you be willing to marry a guy who you know has a mental illness?
Yes.
Yes. Why?
Mental illness can be cured somehow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you won't be scared or uncomfortable with the idea, is it?
No. We should know how to balance it lah. I mean, if you love someone, surely you will just live with what he has.
So love conquers all, is it? What if you yourself had a mental illness? Would you be willing to disclose it, or would you just rather keep it to yourself?
I think initially I would rather keep it to myself, but then after that, I guess it's better to disclose it after all. I mean, the people around me, if they were to work with me, they have to know what's my condition like.
A person who's mentally ill, right, commits a crime. How do you think we should treat them?
Because since he has certain inabilities, I guess it would be better to pardon them to a certain extent.
If the guy really is mentally ill, right, then you can't even prosecute him, all right, because he doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, I think you should treat them as a patient first.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that they deserve some sort of special treatment if they do commit crimes?
Probably he needs medical treatment first before the judgment is made.
So do you think that there's a stigma against mentally ill people these days?
I mean, I think it's inevitable because people who are different are naturally ostracized whether they like it or not. So such things, people are trying to help them, but yeah, I wouldn't say it works all the time.
Do you agree with the government's decision to increase funding for the mental welfare of Singaporeans?
Of course, I mean, that should be their number one priority, you see, because, when it is because of their biological nature, not because of anything else. You know, it's not, say, that the stresses in society, that drives people wild, go crazy. So I think if proper care is given, put them back in society, I think it's good for everyone.
They should increase the funding for a lot of things. but I suppose at this time, this recession, impending recession, I suppose, or we're in the midst of it, I suppose there must be a priority list. And mental illness may or may not be the first one.
Now, so I don't know. What do you have to say about it?
Well, I guess maybe from like the video, you realize a lot of people still have sort of a certain perception of patients with the mental illnesses. Like there's one guy who said, "Oh, I won't marry. What if she kills me in the middle of the night?"
Do you actually? I mean, for Harris, are you yourself married?
I'm married.
You are married. So how long have you been married already?
Oh, quite some time.
For quite some time. Okay, good for you.
1991.
Right. Okay, that was after you were diagnosed with schizo, right? Okay, how did you manage to break the news to your spouse or your girlfriend then?
Well, I was very, very smart. I was very smart. I break the news during Valentine's Day, while I was giving her the rose.
Okay.
I gave her the rose and tell her I have an important thing to tell you. And she was thinking that maybe I'm proposing to her. It's because she saw the rose. And then it was a candlelight dinner. And then when I break the news to her that I was discharged from hospital, the Woodfield Hospital 2 years ago, she was quite shocked and she dropped the rose.
Okay.
But I chose the right woman, and then she already knows me for about 6 months already.
Oh, that's a short period of time, actually.
Because we know each other, first met each other during the Christmas festival, which was December, and then later on, Valentine's Day I disclosed it to her.
Okay.
Just before that. Before that, it was.
Okay, but I guess like maybe reacting to the video, we realize that I guess for some people they have an understanding of mental health. There are still some people who still have the stigma. But what do you think, has the condition? I mean, sort of this improved over the years? Now more people are educated, or they still have this.
More people are educated, but we realize that there's still high rate of delayed treatment. Why delayed treatment? Partly because some of the family members could not recognize the early signs and symptoms. Some families thought that their loved one is being possessed by evil spirit. Or some of them are not aware of the available mental health services in Singapore. So while the rest may think afraid of the side effects of some of the medication. So we think that there's a great need to update the Singaporeans on the importance of promoting positive mental health among them.
Okay, what about the issue of treatment? Because I understand that some people are uncomfortable with going on long-term medication, long-term treatment and all that because of the side effects. So is it also really true, like what the lady in the video said, mental illness can be cured?
Yes, I agree with the lady, 100%. Not can be cured, rather than we rephrase it as mental illness is treatable. And as long as a patient is on regular medication with very good social support, with a positive mindset, they can live a productive life like anybody. Just like Harris.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Harris, how did you have a lot of difficulty to, in coming to terms with the fact that you were, you were mentally ill back then?
Back then was I have this sickness for about more than 30 years, and back then for the first 16 years, it was traumatic. It was traumatic and was, shall I say, in a very crude way, it was hell. Hell in the sense that you have difficulty working with a job, you have difficulty coping with side effects. The medication at that time, something like 20 years ago, was not so advanced. There are lots of side effects and so on. But and the thing is that at that time I had a tendency to feel that I'm not mad. I'm not a mental case. And after I'm well for about 2 or 3 years, started working, I take the initiative to stop the medication. stop the medication under some advice of some good friends and so on. Maybe you don't need the medication, no? Maybe it's just a psychological problem. So I didn't have a good education, a good knowledge that it is a real mental disorder.
Right. Maybe for the benefit of our audience, could you tell us a little bit more about how it's like to be suffering from schizophrenia?
Briefly, schizophrenia is mainly the two main symptoms are delusions and hallucinations. Delusion in the sense that you see something and you interpret it in another way that is not real. No? For example, I saw the meter running. I interpreted that the meter is running very fast and it need to be repaired, and the government is charging us a lot of bills as a result of the meter running very fast. So the government is not right, and so there's a delusion and wrong interpretation. Right. And then I also have hallucination, like in the sense that something is not there, and I saw it there. I saw it there. So, for example, not only my case, another friend, very vivid case is that I was counseling a friend at the house, and she said, "Wow, there are lots of worms in the cupboard, in the closet, in the closet." The husband was very mad at her. "You don't talk nonsense, you embarrass me, don't embarrass me in front of a friend." So I quietly go and open the cabinet door and saw the clothing down there. And so and she said, "These are the worms, these are the worms." It's hallucination. It's not there, you see it there. So I have this type of thoughts also at the time. So I also hear voices, auditory hallucination. I hear the voice asking me to cross the road. You have the power to stop the cars and so on. And it was raining heavily. My 3 brothers following me, and I crossed the road. Unfortunately, it was not knocked down by the car. So, and I waved to the car. Oh, I have the power to stop the car. See? So it's a very sort of bizarre, but very real to us. No? And at that moment, I believe I really have the power to stop the car.
So when was the turning point for you? I mean, like when did you finally realize that you have to go seek treatment, you have to go see a doctor?
The final turning point was thanks to counseling. No? In the early days, in the old Woodbridge Hospital, where there are lots of barbed wires and iron doors, it was a closed-up system. A closed-up custodian system. There was no counseling. So for the first 15 years or so, there was no counseling given to me. I just go there to take medication and so. And when they built the new IMH at Bangkok Green, Bangkok Green, Hougang, it was the first time that they suggested to me, we have counseling. It's run by a voluntary organization. It's completely free. Would you like to go?
Was it anonymous?
Was it anonymous?
Anonymous, like you could go there and people don't know your real identity.
No, it's not anonymous. You see that if you would like to go, you can go in, because now you are doing nothing at home. You just discharged was there. You can't do anything. So I was thinking, like what they say, you can't do anything at home. You apply for a job, they won't take you in because your eye movement is very slow. Your speech is very slow. You have slur speech and so because of sight. So you must well go there and spend some time there. So I went there, and I was told by the counselor, who's a volunteer counselor, and his name is James Chan, and he says, "I have received the file from IMH. They refer me to you. I'm glad that you come. I'm not here to teach you what to do, but I hope by coming here you learn something from me. And first thing is that you are not alone. Second thing is that mental illness is curable, treatable. Third thing is that you don't need to be ashamed of it. And then it put myself comfortable, and through a session of 10 sessions, counsel, he showed me the place whereby these are the cases that have the same problems as you, and they are receiving counseling. And that was the turning point. I remember the very specific turning point, and that is when I broke down. I asked him, you are a Christian and you believe in God. You have prayed for me, but why me? Why me? I'm asking God, why me? Why must I suffer? Why do you give me this type of suffering for so many years? Not untreatable. And he says that I think the counselor also have a few drops of tears, and he said, if you don't have the strength to accept the illness, you ask for strength, you pray about it, and the divine will give you the spiritual strength. And that was the turning point. We pray together, and I promise that I will take the medication faithfully, you know. And after that, I never stop the medication anymore. It's not really through my willpower. Through my willpower, I've been trying to do it for 15 years. It's not successful. But some sort of a divine help.
Right, so it's a lot of faith.
But the medication is necessary.
Definitely.
I have been taking the medication for the next 20 years until today, next 20 years.
And you haven't stopped?
Never stopped. No relapse.
Okay.
Got married. Bought my own house. Fully paid my own house. Got a steady job. Everything's fine now.
Good for you. Now, Porsche, can I just ask, how do you typically, approach somebody who comes to you and say, I have a problem, I think I might have some mental issues. How do you typically go about counseling them? Is it similar to, the type of counseling that Harris received earlier?
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, they need a good listener. Yeah. Try to listen non-judgmentally to them, and try to help them to sort out their problems. Sometimes it could be family issues. Okay, I quote you an example. An old lady, aged about 61 years old, approached a wellness studio, actually for a job placement. And the work care agent realized that, she has suicidal thoughts as well. And they informed me saying that, Porsche, I think this old lady needs help. And I talked to this old lady, and she told me, I'm going to kill myself, and you won't see me anymore on the 1st of December 2008, which is recently. And I asked her, what actually happened? She said, I have a lot of family problems. One of them is accumulated outstanding bills, phone bills especially. And I was offering her some help and some resources on the available financial assistance in Singapore. And she tried. And she managed to get some help. Until now, we are still seeing her. You see? Yeah. Some people will think that, that's the end of my life. They never come to it never come to their mind is that there are available mental health services, that there are counseling services. Getting them to speak up is good, and to update them where to seek help, where the help's from.
Okay, actually when talking about mental illnesses, a lot of people may have sort of common misperceptions that those people are just like mad or crazy. I mean, there are actually a wide variety of different conditions classified under some mental illness, right? Maybe you guys can shed some light on it.
The most common one will be depression, of course, followed by schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder, a whole list. I won't be able to finish it by tonight. So there's a manual by the name of Diagnostic Statistical Manual, that is used by the psychiatrists in Singapore.
What are more common types of sort of mental
depression? Depression. According to World Health Organization, by 2020, depression will be the most important, the serious case in the world.
But for somebody who suspects that maybe I am worried that I might be suffering from clinical depression, how do I know, when is the point that I should, I have to tell myself that, I should seek help now, right now, and not a moment to waste anymore?
This is a common question brought out during my training. Many has been depressed. For example, when your loved one passed away, or you have a failed relationship. But depression lasts for more than 2 weeks, and it affects their daily life, affect their relationship or work. As serious as that, they can't live, or function as per normal. And that's the time when they'll seek for help. And I realized that Singaporeans, most of them, they'll start surfing the internet on mental health issue. They will, loan books. They will join mental health events, volunteer at a mental health organization to know more about mental health issue before they really seek for appropriate help.
I see. Right. So it's a lot of it's when you start to realize that your relationships and your work are being affected. Then you start to realize that
poor appetite and poor sleeping. Poor sleep.
It's when it affects your daily life, and then that is when you should.
The most obvious symptom is interrupted sleep. You can't sleep.
You mean like insomnia? We just did a point blank story on insomnia
you
not too long ago.
Your thoughts coming, dreaming, you're very depressed. Another thing, when it becomes more serious, like you see, when you interfere with your daily life, that means you lost your job, or you cannot concentrate on your job. You'll be staying at home all the time. And the usual trend is that the person will feel very irritable, always arguing and so on. Not just feeling no purpose, no meaning, but he will be arguing, and then depression.
Okay, all right. I guess we've heard a lot from them. Right, but I think it's time for a break now. So we'll be back.
We'll discuss more when we come back.
That's right.